Welcome back into the Sports Source, the segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Everyone loves spending time on their deck, their patio, their yard in the summer, unless, of course, you're being annoyed by mosquitoes, ants, and those giant carpenter bees that bounce around your head like tennis balls. Southeast Termite and Pest Control can treat your deck, can treat your yard, and can get rid of all those bugs. And that way, you're not driven inside by the bugs. You get to spend your summer outside. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control. I use them. You can too. They've been around since 1971. Again, like so many of my clients here, like so many of our clients here, family owned, locally owned. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, let's also remind you of the poll question that we've got up. Let's see what that is. Well, I've got a glare on the screen. Looks like it's still kind of close to being tied there. Yeah. 48% say we're playoff bound this year. 45% say target next year. Or only a few of you say that the media hates UT. Come on. That's the reality. All right. Back with Ryan Callahan. I want to talk about recruiting. We got about 7-8 minutes here. Who have the Vols landed? Who have they missed on, and who's coming next? And I'll let you divvy it out right there.
Yeah, so that's a lot. So the last two Saturdays, Tennessee's gotten a commitment each of the past 2 weeks. 4-star wide receiver Travis Smith of Atlanta last week. Yesterday, 4-star linebacker, edge rusher Christian Gass, also out of the Atlanta area. They beat out Georgia legitimately for him. This is a guy Georgia was actually pushing for, made a big priority. They were recruiting him as a linebacker. Tennessee initially wanted him as an edge rusher, kind of shifted its approach because it sounds like he wants to play linebacker. So they're talking both positions now, but a versatile guy. Good speed, good potential at both positions, really. So big pickup there, long-time receiver target last weekend, and several guys still left to go. Did you have something you were going to?
No, yeah, I was just going to throw out there. I guess it's one of the things that changed with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
It used to be, Kentucky, Randall Cobb, the famous situation, he wanted to play quarterback. Tennessee said, well, you're not going to play quarterback here. Kentucky said, we'll give you a shot at quarterback. They gave him a shot at quarterback, and after about 3 hours, they moved him to receiver.
Yeah.
Now, Randall Cobb could say, no, I said quarterback, I'm in the portal. So the idea of we want you as an edge, now we'll move you to linebacker, that can't just be idle talk these days because of the portal. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, you have to be up front, and that's something Tennessee's conscientious of. All these staffs have to be because if you tell a lie before you had them locked in, what are they going to do?
Didn't
Transfer?
matter.
Wait a couple of years? Now they could be in the portal in a semester, so you've got to be pretty truthful about that. So two big pickups there. This is sort of a weird July. I was telling you before this segment, usually there's been a lot more commitments by now. Tennessee's in on a lot of targets that for whatever reason this year have waited longer to announce decisions. So it looks like now the month of August might be a little bit bigger than the month of July in some cases. So we'll see when some of these guys who have yet to announce make their decisions. One more set to announce on Saturday. Lagonza Hayward, a 4-star safety, top 100 player out of Georgia that Tennessee is in good shape for there. So there's definitely more to come this summer. It's just a lot of this might wait till next month.
Biggest names still on the board for fans to watch. You got the tackle out of Charlotte.
That's the one, yep. 5-star offensive tackle David Sanders. We've been talking about him for a long time. It's still a big battle down the stretch. He's set to announce on August 17. That's a Tennessee-Ohio State battle primarily down the stretch. Nebraska hanging around in there, but no one I've talked to lately thinks it's going to be them. So still going to probably come down to Tennessee and Ohio State. And so still a few weeks away. We're watching this week. The dead period for recruiting ends this week. Will he go back on the road and take any unofficial visits this week before making that decision? But I think as of right now, I think there's a good chance he won't. But we'll see what he does this week as far as getting back out on the road. But that's one still a few weeks away. There's a 5-star quarterback in the 2026 class still another couple weeks away from a decision. 5-star Faison Brandon out of Greensboro, North Carolina. He'll announce on August 3rd. A couple others in August, 4-star offensive tackle, 5-star offensive tackle Josh Petty and 4-star offensive tackle Juan Gaston out of Atlanta. So both those guys Tennessee battling for, but probably not the favorite. And then 4-star cornerback Onis Konambani out of South Carolina also announcing sometime in August. So still several guys still out there. In addition to Georgia linebacker commitment Jaden Perlotti that Tennessee is still trying to flip, and 4-star Oregon tight end commitment Desan Brame. So still several names out there and a lot to keep track of over the next 3 weeks or so.
I'm just impressed that you can say all those names. Heck, I'm impressed you can remember all those names. The fact that Tennessee, you just mentioned, they stole a guy, they got it, they went into Georgia and got a guy that Georgia wanted. They're battling Ohio State. Okay, you told us several months ago that they're in on a higher class of player this time around. And it sounds like now you're battling with a higher. Because of that, you're battling higher ranked schools. And winning against Georgia, might win against Ohio State. All that seems very positive. So let me show you the recruiting rankings for 24/7 Sports. And of course, Ryan is with Go Vols 24/7. Ohio State number 1, Alabama 2, Georgia 3, LSU 4, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Miami, Oklahoma, Tennessee 10th on the list. Now you see no 5 stars. Boy, look at the top of the list. Ohio State 4, Alabama 5, a lot of 5 stars up there. But Tennessee 10th overall, and they're 10th with only 18 players. That would be, let's see, Alabama, Georgia, LSU 3, 4. That'd be 6th in the SEC. Yeah. All right, so here's my question. Top 10, 6th in the SEC. Let's say it finishes right there. Well, first of all, do you think that's about where they finish, or do you think they can get higher?
I think they could get a little higher. A lot of it will depend on David Sanders, I think, where he ends up. Because if Tennessee gets him, he's the number 3 player in 24/7 Sports rankings right now. That'd be a big boost to Tennessee's class. They also just recently had George McIntyre as a 5-star commitment, the quarterback from Brentwood Academy. He's now a 4-star on 24/7 Sports. Has moved down a little bit. He's now in the top 100 as opposed to being a 5-star. So that hurt Tennessee a little bit. They don't have that 5-star to anchor the class. If they get that back in David Sanders and an even higher ranked 5-star, that's a big boost. So they could end up, I think, closer to the top 5. I don't think they end up in the top 5, but they could end up 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range if a lot of things fall their way.
Is this going to be, in your opinion, if I made you guess right now, is this going to be a special class or kind of a really, really good class, but more of a typical Tennessee class? They've been 17, 10, 14. Will it be another between 10 and 20, or will it be inside the top 10? I know you said you could make your guess.
I'll say as of right now, I will lean a little bit toward Tennessee on the David Sanders battle. Again, that one's still to be determined. And sometimes in these, in the NIL era, sometimes you don't know till the final week.
Somebody finds $1 million they didn't have, in the couch cushions.
So in a battle for the number 3 player in the country, who knows what could still happen. But as of right now, I might lean a little toward Tennessee in that one. So if they get him, and I think they might, then that class is going to creep again up the rankings a little bit more. So I'm going to say this leans more toward being a special class. I'm not going to say top 5 good again. I mean, we've seen that before with Butch Jones.
Yeah.
Again, though, that was a class that had 32 players in it, or 28 that year, or 29.
Yeah.
So they had some big classes that helped with that. This is not going to be a 30-player class. It's going to be closer to 25, it looks like.
Well, you had fewer than anybody else on that list.
And it's still got a chance to be ranked that high. So it's got a chance to be one of Tennessee's better ones in the last 10 to 15 years.
Very good. Ryan, you always do a great job with this. I appreciate it. When we come back, much more on the Vols coming up, but is everyone focusing on the wrong newcomer in the SEC? We're all looking at it saying, well, Oklahoma, they could be in trouble in this league, but Texas is looking really good. Are we all wrong about that? We'll discuss that next. Come on back.